welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking on Reviews, back now on Monday night. The episode I just got over. We're talking about His Dark Materials. We're on episode 5. It's called The Lost Boy. So full spoilers if you've not seen this episode. Oh boy. If I thought last week was the episode I was waiting for, this one, holy moly, does it take it to another level. And I know how to say alethiometer now. I have had to enunciate and enunciate and enunciate. But first off, I want to just tell everybody thank you for watching these videos. Those of you that have chosen to watch these, I want to thank everybody that subscribed because of it and commented. You guys in the comment section have been the best at helping me fill in the gaps a little bit without spoiling things for me. Because, you know, if you've read the books, great. I haven't. And, you know, the fact that people have been very, positive about that fact. And so if you are liking these videos and you're new to the channel, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, all that jazz if you're liking this content. Because I plan on continuing this story to the end. This is easily one of my favorite things all year. And Lyra and Daphne Keene's performance is definitely one of my favorite characters I've seen in a while. I I can't get over every single time she's on screen. I am just unbelievably impressed with this girl. And also the performances of our other actors in this, especially James Cosmo from Game of Thrones. He's unbelievable on this show. The voice acting from the animals is really emotional. This show is really fantastic, and like I've said before, I think HBO really needed something like this after Game of Thrones. Something that everybody can watch. And while it's been complicated, I have now, pretty much figured out a lot of things that are going on in this world. And there's still names and places that I don't understand, but everything is laid out for you and it is answered for you in these episodes. So let's talk about The Lost Boy. We find out that there's this boy whose fate is bound with Lyra's. His name is Will, and Will Parry. He's the son of John Parry, who Boreal is sitting on his house right now. And John's the one that can cross over. He had those missions with Alaska, with I believe it's Azrael, and so he's going to play a big part in this story. Just not yet. This is his introduction. It's the big move that the Egyptians are doing is a very impressive move. They've got all these different kinds of equipment. I mean, these are people that live on the water, and hang out there. So going over land and everything, it's like a sea. It's like their own boats over grass now. It's all really impressive. And I like how they admit that they needed Lorik. I was calling him Yorick. I think my brain heard what I wanted to hear. But they got him out there. Lee Scoresby is letting people pull him. I like that, because there's no balloon necessary. Not when you have, what's the Kaiser? Seraphina's daemon is kind of looking ahead, so it's like there's no need to have the balloon up there. Also, it would be a real easy target if somebody decided to shoot it down. A bird might be a little harder to shoot, like a single bird. It's a smaller target. And she's like, to Lee, Lyra's like, you're a hard man to like. But it seems like every character that people say that about, they always smile about, and they always end up liking them. So, why do they say that when they all really like him? And, I mean, we all like him. If you don't like Lee Scoresby, I don't know what to tell you. I like him a lot. And he's only been in, less than 2, this is his second episode. But like I mentioned before, Boreal is sitting on this lost boy, who's the son of John Parry, that they're keeping an eye on him. They want to know if he's been back. They're trying to find out where he crossed and hoping that his family will somehow lead them to him or where he crossed. And his mom, she's gone kind of, soft in the head, it looks like. Something happened that made her kind of be off. And she's got these letters of his, and she's convinced that people have been in the house. But, maybe at some point they have, but they didn't find the letters, maybe. But they're talking about the letters as if they find those letters, they find maybe where John Parry is or where he crossed. They also find out that he's been giving them money over a long period of time. So he knew going into this, whatever he's been doing, that he was going to be gone for a long time, and that kind of level of long planning. I love how he put it. That he was doing it as a marathon, not a sprint. So every bit of money is meant to stretch out for as ever long it takes, while still, taking care of his family. It's pretty. These bad guys are pretty smart at looking at how they look at things. So they're talking about finding the paper trail, and if they can find the paper trail, which is the letters, then they could maybe find out where he is or where he went or where he crossed. This whole thing of everybody trying to find this bridge to the city in the sky that you can only see through like the aurora borealis. And the more we get of this, the more it makes sense now, or starting to make more sense. And if you're wondering why I'm talking about Will here, it's because I really want to talk mostly about Lyra's story, because this is Will's introduction. People call him a freak. I don't know why, but those kids need to get a beat down. And even Boreal goes so far as to like come over to her house, like right here is where he shows up, kind of not threatening her, but being this friend who's like, oh, I didn't even know what happened to John. Really? Oh, I just kind of walk out of nowhere. Not real subtle. But Lord Fa comes to Lyra to check the alethiometer to see, what's going on, what's up ahead. And what's up ahead is an army that they're not prepared for. And so she also, while she was reading the alethiometer, it showed her somewhere she needs to go, that it's part of this whole thing. But they don't want her to go, and even Coram forbids her to go because she's like like a different version of Kaiser. Kaiser can fly, but Lyra can see the truth in things. So if there's something waiting for them that maybe Kaiser can't see, the alethiometer can. And so they don't want her to go. But she goes to Billy's mom, and while it takes her some convincing, eventually talking to Kaiser and saying, that first off, your dad is looking for a bridge and using dust to find it, and that Lyra should go on this kind of like side quest. And that it's smart for her to be looking to the sky because that's where her father's looking, and he's been taken by the bears. Now again, we never saw this, but he's being held there, but they're letting him continue his work because everybody's trying to find this bridge to the other worlds. Why? I guess because like this, they saying this world's broken, right? So maybe they think, I don't know. I don't want to get too deep into that because that's where it starts to get confusing. But after talking to Kaiser, Billy's mom agrees that she should go. And then we get the meeting of Coram and Seraphina, the witch. And she's happy to see that he's got his fight back. And, this whole exchange is very emotional. Her saying, just because I'm 300 years old doesn't mean I can't see the person that you were and are through this older man that stands in front of her. And I was thinking, man, they were probably like, a hot couple once before their son died. Like they seemed like a pretty powerful, like their love is still there, but because their son died, it kind of, everything went sour. And again, James Cosmo bringing the full emotional weight to the situation. He didn't want to see her. It hurts to see her, this immortal that he fell in love with. It's just all really great stuff. We also find out that the witches aren't as united as they once were, so there's probably witches maybe siding with the Magisterium, or maybe working on their own. So after all this is said and done, Lord Fa orders Lyra and Lorik to go to where the alethiometer wants them to go. And I got to make sure that Oh, okay. So on this mission, and we have this great exchange about riding bears and everything, and it's great. He's in like a cave eating a deer while she's eating her eggs, and she's asking him all these questions about bears, and it's really interesting. And he's, you can always tell that, like, I mean, this is a polar bear, right? He could just rip her pieces. Now, I know he's not that kind of bear, but the discussion of bears and the character of bears is brought up, and like people say, and it's pretty well known that polar bears are very intelligent bears, which is why I think that it's good that this story was incorporated them in. Now, I think a lot of bears are smart, but they always say that polar bears are particularly clever at working things out. All animals have their thing that they do that can adapt to their environment, but polar bears seem to be especially smart. And we find out that, so they get into this whole thing, and she's like saying, like, well, part of me, you're going to find out that part of me is part bear. I like that. I mean, she just never, she stands up for herself, and without being cocky, without being snotty. A lot of kids and parts can always end up being like annoying and grating, and Daphne Keene is always just right on point. The way they've written her, the way that they have her play her, she is not too confident. She is just, oh man, one of the best written child characters I have ever seen. And I'm talking like, I think she's better written than like most of the Harry Potter characters, to be honest with you. Aside from maybe Hermione. Like, they're probably on the same kind of level. We find out that Warwick was a prince who broke the rules and then was sent away. And that he killed another bear. Why, we don't know. But he says that he wasn't in his right mind, which is the second time we heard that about Warwick. And this first was when he lost his armor. So, if they're so smart, why does he keep kind of getting into these situations? There's definitely more there than just, I wasn't in my right mind. He's just not telling yet. There's more to this story. So when she goes and they enter this really spooky area, and everything about it is wrong. Even Lorik does not feel right about this. He's talking about master your fear. And her daemon is freaking out and making her nervous. And when she goes in there and I see all the skins, I started thinking, now, apparently, I'm probably wrong about this. I'm almost guaranteed wrong now, because they say that this kid was wandering around for a while and he found this place. But why is that place abandoned? Why is this place abandoned? I mean, maybe it's because it's the winter and they moved to somewhere else or something, or they moved on, or maybe they were all killed. I don't know. It doesn't look like a massacre happened there. But there's all these skins hanging there, and I was thinking to myself, first thing I thought of was they were skinning their daemons. And in some way removing, like what they talk about later, removing the soul. So that their daemon isn't dead, right? But it's Billy that she finds there. They bring him back and bring him to his mother, and Lee's like, you need to Lyra, you need to let them do their thing. They love you, but this is not part of your thing. And Billy ends up dying. But we don't see what happened to the daemon. If he was dead, then wouldn't he just be dead already? Unless the daemon died, like when he died? It's hard to say. But again, the first thing I thought of was they skinned their daemons. Now again, that's probably completely wrong, but that was the first impression I got. Because when they talk about removing the soul, right? But they want him to keep working. So some sort of slave labor and experiments they were working on. And I'm pretty sure I'm way off on the skinning thing, but they're separating their demons from them. And I don't know what that all entails, but Billy dies, and everybody agrees that it's time to kill, basically, and they have this really mournful kind of loss song that they sing. You can tell it's about their souls, and it's really solemn, and it's really, really well done. And in the middle of the night, these invaders sneak in and start taking out people. And then Lyra comes out of the tent, And I thought they literally, when they faded to black, that was the end of the episode, and I was ready to go, whoa, no, 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 don't you dare, don't you dare go to black on me when it looked like somebody was about to stab Lyra with a knife, because you saw that they were killing people, they were looking for kids. They found one. Maybe it's a little convenient, I don't know, that it's Lyra, but she's taken to this place where they're very curious about her daemon. They are very curious that she's near the time of change. They call her a Category A, and to prep her for treatment. Her stripped down to everything, and they pull out a uniform, the same as Billy. And now she knows that she is in Bovanger, the place that they were headed to, or at least somewhere similar to that. And in the next episode, it looks like we're getting a full-on look at what they're doing there and what Marissa's up to. And yes, using kids because they have the dust, they can see it, and it's more prevalent to them. Kind of like when they see it, say like kids can see ghosts and things, you know, things that, you know, when they're the innocent can see what's not there sometimes. I feel like that's a big part of this. And it's just diabolical, man. Diabolical. This is a dark episode, and I'm sorry because now this probably upset a lot of people, but I love dark episodes. I love when it gets dark. And the fact that it's not, you know, this show is not just, you know, some like kids show, you know, or like even like the first couple of Harry Potters. Like this is like Harry Potter, you know, 5. Like this is getting dark, dark, dark. And I appreciate that. It's not holding anybody's hand. It's trusting that the audience is grown up enough to watch this. And we haven't seen stuff like this in a long time. This reminds me of something that would have been a classic at this point in the 80s, like something we would have looked back on. And remember his Dark Materials, that show from the 80s? Oh, although it would have looked more probably like Doctor Who or something like that back then. But anyway, fantastic episode. Can't wait to see what they do next. Next week it looks like Lyra's planning a prison break, and Marissa, boy, whew, boy, she's one of the best villains I've seen in a while. So anyway, that's The Lost Boy. I can't wait to see what happens next week. There's only 3 episodes left, so 6, 7, and 8. Whoo boy! So if you like this review, like at the beginning, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe. Please comment, please subscribe. Please let me know how I'm doing, but most of all, like, tell me what you like about this. Give me the extra information, but remember, no spoilers. All I'm asking for is little tidbits that maybe in this episode I missed, or little factoids that were part of the book in this area that you can fill me in on. Like I said, people are probably going to mention the fact that I'm wrong about the skinned animals, but that's fine. I already think I'm wrong anyway. So anyway, this is Robin Smirking Gun Review saying we'll be back next week with episode 6. Freaking can't wait. And again, thanks for watching, everybody. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Otherwise, this is Robin Smirking Gun Review saying have a great day, and we'll see you next week. Bye.